the best thing I can say to anyone in their 20s, if I can look back, I'm 31 for reference, is like continue to just explore and experiment and just try as many things as you can. You need to get as much like world or life experience, like running your business, moving cities, investing in programs, surrounding yourself with different people, asking these questions is fantastic because you're increasing your surface area and you're trying to find the signals that start helping you iterate and dial in, things that like light you up or that for some reason they stick more than others. They say like success leaves clues, but I think it's also like your soul or your spirit responds to clues. I think it's another kind of way of saying it in a slightly esoteric way. So Hill Lavinia, founder of Gumroad, in his book, The Minimalist Entrepreneur, he has this really simple diagram, which to me is just like a shorter, just more direct Venn diagram of like what you're looking for. So what do you want to do and what helps others? Like that's going to be the most sustainable thing because there's so many ways you can help others. But what you want to do is the thing that's going to ensure you're actually drawn to do it more than just the paycheck, more than just the follow account, more than just the grind and the status and whatever. There's like something deeper to it. And I think that's just a really simplified version of the Ikigai diagram. So I wanted to leave you with something practical. I want to credit one of my probably strongest and long running virtual mentors I've had in Dr. John Demartini. I've actually had two separate coaches in my life, both kind of like credit or align towards his work, which is really saying something. If you haven't heard of him, he's basically a lifelong polymath. That means he's incredibly talented and versed in just about anything he pursues. He studied all the greats, thinkers, the philosophers, other polymaths in history, is committed to understanding and optimizing for human potential. And I guess one of the core thesis of what he really comes down to is every single one of us are wired uniquely to a unique set of values. And those values can express or manifest in different ways in our life. And then you basically identify yourself or you align with things according to your highest value, whether you consciously or subconsciously recognize it. So if you haven't done this, do a Demartini values determination assessment. This could be one of the most prolific trajectory shifting exercises you do in your entire life. That's a really, really big and hyperbolic claim. And I'm making it, on behalf of my experience, but I'm also making it on behalf of like hundreds of thousands of students that have gone through his workshops and his seminars and that have followed his work for over 30 years. So he has condensed it into, I think, like a 30-minute to 60-minute do-it-yourself online values assessment that you can follow. The basis of doing this assessment and this determination is that you are already living your highest values. They are already present and manifesting in what you do. It's going to ask you to like, look at your desk, look at your life, look at where you bring order and organization to. What are you spending money and time with? If I give you 2 hours free on a day and you didn't have to do any work, what would you naturally wander or gravitate to? Not what you think you should do, not what, your peers, teachers, preachers project that you think you should be doing at your stage of life. Like, what do you actually do if we did a hard audit? So I think it's a really honest look at yourself. And it wasn't until I was like 25 or 26 and my mentor for the first time got me to do this and actually asked me like, what are my values? And I didn't know what they were. Man, like I've had so much alignment and clarity come from that because once you know those values and then you own them and you just give yourself fucking full permission to live them and you just cut out anything that is outside of that, it's not about what your parents think you should be doing or your friends or whatever. It's just like, you just get to operate in this lane of like what you really, really are. Just to give you an example, like Pete, who was in the latest cohort that we had, he left this comment like straight after the practical. He said, look, the questionnaire is hard work. It is, it's mental alchemy. It's forcing you to reflect on your life in a way that you never have. You kind of have to switch off autopilot. But as he said it really forces you to confront how you're spending your day to day. Like I'm not even halfway through it and it really has me thinking. So I just want to put that in your toolkit. To know what value you can bring to the marketplace, you need to understand what you yourself value. And there's another phrase that Demartini shares, which is voids drive values. So often things that you lacked when you were growing up or things that you craved or things you had a scarcity of are often what drive value, which is sometimes why you see many of the rags to riches stories of kids that grew up in abject poverty, parents that, divorced, violent upbringing, they didn't have anything, become these remarkable leaders, innovators, entrepreneurs. When you see them on long form podcast interviews where they're often asked to like link back to their childhood, you will 99% of the time see that what they have built has been around having a huge void in their life. Understanding the voids that you have filled through the life you're currently living and the skills you currently have and the things you're doing are going to help solve the voids that other people in the market also have that you can provide for, right? Through what you uniquely offer. And then the second thing I wanted you to focus on in regards to understanding your unique skills and unfair advantages, like I love this exercise and you're actually the first person I'm sharing kind of the behind the scenes on what I do to help identify this. I want you to do this exercise where you basically collect and gather every single win, piece of positive feedback, DM, voice note, compliment, email response that you've ever got, at least in the last, 6 to 12 months. You'll remember all of those messages that people sent to you that really just landed and really like made your day. I hope you've screenshotted them, or at least I hope you know what they do, because I didn't, and it took me a little bit longer than I wanted to start collecting them, but I recommend your future self will thank you for making this exercise. And the way I want you to do it is either take screenshots if it was digitally transferred to you as a message, and transfer it into a free Google Photos album. I'm going to show you one that I've got myself. Or copy or type or transcribe the text into a Google Sheets document so that you've at least got all of them. Verbatim if you can, as close to word for word to what they said, or just an overall summary of what someone said. And this isn't even to publicly post these. These are actually for your private research and your private self-awareness. I know there are times in my life, even when I felt lost or I've doubted myself and my ability to serve others, and looking at this bank of comments is something that just like reignites you or realigns you. I find that it recalibrates myself if I feel like I'm a little bit thrown. So honestly, having all of these comments is kind of like your own personal report card. You never have to share it. Obviously, like testimonials, that's like, that helps with your sales process and creates social proof and trust. So shout those out to the world. But all those private DMs from people that like, it might not even be a testimonial. It's just like, hey bro, I just wanted to say like that piece of content helped me today. That landed, whatever it is. And then if you can, for context, like reference afterwards, like what was that piece of content so you can know. Now, this is all going somewhere, but I'm just going to show you an example of what this looked like for me. Show you, yes, this is community love, but I take screenshots. So as you can see over here, I started only really doing this like in the last, from 2023. I wish I did this like in a longer period because there's so much stuff I wouldn't have captured. Comments that stand out, DMs that really came out. When people send you like screenshots or photos of what they're up to, DMs, all these kind of messages, you can see these are beautiful responses I've been getting, email replies, voice notes. These are just reminders of like who I am and the value that other people see in me, because similar to what DeMartini shared, you are already showing your unique value, but you don't have it all compiled and synthesized and organized in a way where you can start identifying it. So for me, at the very least, like start with Google Photos. It's free. You can just upload it. You can have the app on your phone. So as soon as you take a screenshot, I make a habit, put it into Google Photos straight away, right? And that way then in the future, you can return to them. And if you want to actually process them, edit them, reach out to that person in the future to use them for a testimonial, you've at least just got a raw folder to capture them as they happen in real time. Every couple of weeks or so, I'll go back to these and kind of dive in and just like kind of re-energizes and inspires me and reminds me of what I'm doing. For the ones I've then processed and I kind of, given them a bit more of a polish, I put them through Senya.io, which is a testimonial platform I'm using. If you don't want to pay for the subscription, you totally don't have to. I think the free plan is like you got 15 free submissions, but I've obviously had a lot more. And this just helps me clean up so that if I ever do want to use specific comments as they relate to an aspect of my strength, for example, my ability as an educator, my ability as a videographer or as a content creator, my ability as a consultant or a coach, I can start tagging them and sorting them within Senya.io. That's something you can't do with Google Photos, but within Senya.io, you can start sorting them a little bit more. In particular, as I said, you want to try to get as much verbatim content as you can, but if you don't want to use Senya, that's completely cool. I did mention about putting all of the content into a Google Sheets document. Now, this is a very nuanced example. This is for time to build, and I've taken out the column of the name of the students that have had wins, but what you can see over here in column B is what I want to bring your attention to. I want you to make a column like this, and there I want you to either copy paste the transcription or the verbatim comment or feedback that someone in your audience or your community shared with you. And I want you to list them all out down one by one. You can include their name if you want, you don't have to, and any other details relating to it. And from there, because like our brains can't process all this information and there's just like so much to try and capture with all of it, we're going to lean on AI. We're going to do an AI enhanced unique strength finder process where I've actually pre-populated this prompt for you right now. I'm going to send this through or I'll just have it in somewhere wherever this video is. We can copy and paste this one as an example and you can say, hey, ChatGPT, I'm struggling to clearly articulate my unique value and strengths. I've compiled and included a list of feedback, testimonials, positive comments from clients I've worked with that I've pasted below. Can you please analyze the document, identify the key themes, patterns that stand out in how clients describe my strengths. For each theme, extract the most relevant snippets from my feedback to support it. Then please provide a short 1-2 sentence summary under each theme to help me better understand what I'm best at. Finally, help me see how I can translate these strengths into a service, product, or offer that aligns with my personal brand and broader mission. Or you can change that last sentence to whatever you want, like help me define what my brand mission is, or what's my ikigai, or what are like 10 valuable products or services that reflect what I've done and align with the avatar that I enjoy serving or that I'm inspired to serve. And then for you then either just want to paste your content, so you can quite literally go to all of that, go Control-C and paste that into ChatGPT underneath that. Or if you've got all of your screenshots like this and with the text, I only learned this recently, I can just take a screenshot of all that as an example and another screenshot. I think you can upload up to 4 to 5 screenshots and another screenshot. And then if we go to ChatGPT, I'm actually going to get that prompt that I shared before. I'm going to do that. I'm going to paste that one in. Now I'm going to drag that screenshot, drag that screenshot, drag that screenshot. Cool. I'm now going to hit enter and see what it comes back with. Now, it's the first time I've done it with this. It's just an example. But again, if you used all the text verbatim wins that you have, ChatGPT will do its thing and come back to you with an answer. Give it some time. All right, running a little bit slower. There we go. I've extracted the text on that. Now analyze key themes. Fantastic. So I think, yeah, what it first did is it had to rake through all of the text in the screenshot. If you have issues with clarity or you have low resolution stuff, make sure it's high resolution. But let's have a look. Okay, this is beautiful. I've organized the themes. Look at this. Okay, so these are my themes right now. Energy and presence, impactful teaching and guidance, supportive and inspirational, unique perspective and value, encouragement and empowerment. Fantastic. So this is in relation to probably my role as like a teacher, as an educator. There's a summary of the themes of the statements of what I do, and hasn't quite nailed the examples. It kind of has. Okay, so I guess, look, it's not perfect. It's a first stab. I would say because in this case, I had very, very small text, but as you might have seen from another example over here, like I have all this data that I could either export from Senya, all of these screenshots that I could, I'm probably worth putting into a spreadsheet myself, but I just wanted to give you that as, practical hands-on, something that you can consider doing. Let that start marinating and percolating. I'm not gonna say you're gonna have this like brilliant, skies open up, the heavens open, light beams down, and you're going to suddenly know what your exact ikigai is. Something that's going to help you dial in on how your values, how the value others perceive in you, and how your unfair advantages are already manifesting in your life. I just think we don't take enough time to actually stop and reflect, or at least like synthesize and extract all the themes. And fortunately, Chatty G is here to help you out with that, man. So I really just hope this helps you in starting to map out or just understand like who you are at this point in time and how the marketplace sees you, stirring some creative thinking around what you want your mission to be, because you're probably already living it. You just haven't explicitly articulated it, but the chances are that people around you and those that you've served already see that in you. So I think that's a really good place to start with. And then just know that with all things in life, it's going to iterate. You're going to get more signals, you're going to get more feedback. You're going to start dialing in more and more into the kind of services that really light you up, or that, as we showed over here, the kind of things that you love doing that really, really helps others, and that kind of is something that, you can then ultimately, package up as something you can get paid for, and something that, really is just like an alignment of what the world needs. I'll include, all these details, the links, wherever this video is, and get back to me, keep me posted on how it goes. But much love, brother, and I'll chat soon.